This is Vandal's Arm Cannon from Bungie's new game, Marathon. And for their recent commercial, I had to build this real working replica and operate it on set.
Oh my God.
What was the catch? I only had 18 days to build this whole project. As a kid who grew up playing video games, Bungie was responsible for a huge portion of my childhood since they made both the Halo and Destiny series, which means it is really important to me that I do not screw this up. So how do you build a commercial level special effect for a major gaming company? The first thing I'm doing is actually watching the trailers that are already out for this game because I want to see how this hand actually articulates in order to recreate it. And if we go through frame by frame, the first action is the forearm clamshell popping open, followed by the palm and fingers opening, and the main body of the barrel extending forwards. Next up are the two barrel accents that fold outwards, and last but not least, the secondary barrel extends forward to complete the animation. When played back in real time though, this entire sequence happens in just under half a second. What really makes this tricky is video game designers don't have to obey the laws of physics, and I unfortunately do, so there's gonna have to be some movements in this that I'm cheating because they aren't physically possible. In order to tackle this, I'm breaking up the design into two main components, the forearm clamshell mechanism and the internal barrel assembly. Now, Bungie did send over some of the game asset files to use as reference, but because they are mesh files, everything is hollow on the inside, which means I need to build out all the inner components from scratch. In order to make it actually pop open and closed, the secret ingredient I'm going to be using is a scissor lift. Not only do these provide a lot of lift in a very small package, but they're also more stable because the weight is evenly distributed across 4 different points. And unlike the digital version, the real arm has to be strong enough to support its own weight, which means regular servos simply won't cut it. What will do the job are these linear actuators, which are rated for a whopping 50 pounds of force. And since space and weight are at a premium with this build, I'm using the Carvera Air CNC machine to mill the actual scissor arms out of a single block of cast ABS plastic, making them much stronger than a 3D print. Once fully assembled with the linear actuators, these scissor lift mechanisms will sit in the middle of the forearm and connect to the outer shell, allowing it to pop open or closed. However, by this point, we have a bit of a problem. Out of the 5 different sequences that have to play out, we're only on the first one, and already almost all the available space inside the arm has been used up by just the scissor lift mechanisms. Now, Bungie was adamant that I cannot resize any of the game asset files to give myself more room, so I need to figure out a way to animate the remaining 4 actions, all with just a single motor. And I think this is where the first of our cheats is going to have to come into play. Because parts of the barrel clip through each other in the game, I had to redesign the entire assembly with some tweaks so the movements could actually work in the real world. And speaking of movement, to actuate all those parts, I'm once again turning to my old friend the rack and pinion gear, but this time with a bit of a twist. That's because these 2 barrels have to telescope into and out of each other using the same motor. So the trick is to make a rack and pinion sandwich by adding another gear to the top of the inner frame. Now the main barrel can pull itself forward at the same time it's extending the secondary barrel. This does introduce a bit of a problem though, because the secondary barrel runs out of track before the main barrel fully extends, causing the whole system to lock up prematurely. Once again, I'm gonna have to cheat here, so I made the endpoints spring-loaded. And if we slow the footage way down, you can see how it allows the motor to keep spinning after it reaches the end of the rack gear. Now it can fully extend both barrels, even though they travel different lengths. The next thing we have to tackle are the barrel accents, and for these, I broke up each side into multiple pieces so the secondary barrel could move in between them. To keep things fully mechanical, each piece has a small torsion spring that allows them to pop up and fold down as the barrel extends and retracts. And while it doesn't perfectly match the movement from the game, this design dramatically reduces complexity, which is good because that makes it more reliable, and reliable means I don't get fired on set, which I would prefer. With the 2 major subsystems now complete, building out the rest of the components and making it all work together should be super easy, right? I was now fully in the integration hell phase of this project. Time was running out with only 6 days left before everything had to ship out. All I did was eat, sleep, build, repeat. But there was one major component that I still hadn't figured out yet. I have not gotten a lot of sleep the past few days because I have been trying to get this wrist mechanism working, and of all the different parts that make up this arm, this stupid thing has by far been the most challenging. Each piece has to pivot in 2 different places and slide forwards to clear the top and bottom clamshells. However, the bigger problem is gravity. In the game, the wrist snaps back effortlessly. In reality, the minute the arms open, the palm and fingers become a massive, cantilevered weight, causing them to droop and snag on the clamshells, My original approach was to spring load each piece so the main barrel could push the palm and fingers apart, but the springs simply weren't strong enough to prevent it from flopping around. Which means I need to not only reduce the weight of the hand, but also increase the amount of tension in the wrist. And that's when I realized this problem had already been solved in nature. In a real arm, the dorsal carpal ligaments act as a tension strap, keeping your wrist stable under its own weight. And without any sort of ligaments in my design, it was never going to work. So I redesigned the wrist with some flexible TPU bands that mimic that same ligament structure. These provide constant tension on the palm and finger mounts, and at just 2 millimeters thick, these barely fit in what little space I had left. To help these new ligaments out, I reprinted the hand in a lightweight foaming TPU, which cut the total weight down by nearly half. With less weight and more tension, the wrist now stays in place when the arm is closed, while still being flexible enough for the barrel to push it open. Which means we now have each of the 5 actions complete. However, this could all be for nothing because we have a unique problem. Since this commercial is going to be filmed hidden camera style, it won't be professional actors handling this prop, it'll be random strangers, and they have no idea that this thing can't transform. So if they get startled and drop it, it can't break. Otherwise, the whole film shoot is over. So I have to make sure this thing can survive a 4-foot drop straight onto concrete. All right, I have the high-speed camera set up to capture the impact and all the different parts of the arm extended because I want to simulate the worst-case scenario on set where all the internal components are exposed. We just need to get this over with. So this is drop test in 3, God, I can't look. All right, 3, 2, 1, drop. Oh, I hated that sound. All right, well, it's all still in one piece. I guess the real test is, does it still work? Okay, all the motors have been hooked back up again, so fingers crossed, hopefully this still works. All right, closing test in 3, 2, 1. Nothing's happening. I forgot to connect a wire, hold on. Okay, everything's actually connected now. Let's try that again. And 3, 2, 1. That's not good. I don't know if you can hear that, but one of the motors is just like spinning, but nothing's happening. That works. What the heck? Uh-oh. Okay, I just unplugged everything again because the problem is the bottom clamshell is not closing. So I need to take this thing back apart and see what's actually going on inside of here. This thing has now been completely ripped apart, and I have some good news, and I also have some bad news. Good news is nothing I built broke, so pretty jazzed about that. Bad news is this bottom linear actuator got absolutely obliterated. The main bearing inside literally exploded, and there were just loose ball bearings rolling around inside the housing, which is usually not a great sign. Now, obviously I wasn't planning on these being the crumple zone, but they are at least an off-the-shelf part. Hopefully nobody actually drops the thing, but we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Everything else took the hit like a champ, however, and after replacing the now destroyed linear actuator with a new one, the arm was once again back up and running. But I wasn't taking any chances, so I bought 10 spare actuators to have ready in case somebody did actually drop the arm during filming. And to be extra safe, I also started printing out parts for an entire second arm on my new Chitty Max 4, which came in clutch thanks to its truly massive build plate. But I was down to just 14 hours before my flight, so I had to absolutely slam through all the electronics, and unfortunately, that meant using protoboard instead of building out a nice custom PCB like I wanted. Speaking of PCBs though, if you ever want to make your own, be sure to check out today's sponsor, PCBWay. They have been my go-to PCB manufacturer for all of my projects, and they also offer CNC machining, metal 3D printing, laser cutting, and more. Just upload your files, customize your board options, and hit submit. To learn more and to support the people who support me, check out PCBWay at the link in the description. And now, back to the build. We still need a way to remotely control the arm, and since I don't have enough time to build a custom remote from scratch, I grabbed my old safecracker prop I had built for another movie since it already had everything I needed. After a quick reprogramming, it was ready for its new life as the arm cannon's remote control. But triggering the arm is only half the story. The hallmark shot for this entire commercial is the wall exploding, and while I was working on building the arm, the demolitions team had rigged up a fake wall that could shatter and then reset for multiple takes. To sell the illusion, this explosion needs to be perfectly synced with the arm cannon. Too early and it looks fake, too late and the take is ruined. So to bridge the gap between their wall rig and my remote, I pulled yet another project out of retirement, the high voltage trigger from my exploding blood fountain build. By cramming an ESP32 inside, it could now communicate with my remote, allowing me to trigger the wall explosion and the arm as one perfectly timed sequence. The entire climax of this shoot now literally rested in the palm of my hand. And if I wasn't stressed enough already, my flight was about to leave and the backup parts still had 10 minutes left before they were done printing. So with no sleep and an entire second arm still left to build, I hopped on my flight to meet up with Jesse Velez of Raptor House Effects, who was overseeing all the builds for this project. Not only is he one of the most talented practical effects designers I know, he's also just a wonderful human being. And while I had been working on the arm, Jesse and his team were busy pulling off their own miracle, building 2 game-accurate characters from scratch, as well as all the other props that would be featured in this shoot. Once at their shop, I immediately got to work building out the second hand cannon and hiding all the electronics inside the arm, while Jesse and his team tackled the painting and finishing work so that everything would perfectly match the full-size character. To make things even more exciting, we also added a hidden solenoid inside the arm that would provide a sharp kickback as the hand cannon went off to simulate recoil. Once all the painting was finished, it was time to load everything up and head to set, where the rest of the film crew had already begun hiding cameras all around the fake showroom. Since all of the builds for this shoot were essentially working prototypes, we set up a mini workshop behind the scenes to be ready in case something broke. And while the 2 actors were getting all suited up, I ran one final round of tests with the wall demolition team so we could rehearse the exact timing it would explode. Everything was now locked in, and after almost 300 hours of building these hand cannons, it was finally time to put them to the ultimate test and into the hands of our unsuspecting victims. We all took our places in the control room and waited quietly for someone to pick up the arm so I could trigger the ensuing chaos. Take after take, I held my breath and waited for someone to panic and drop the arm. But fortunately, that moment never came. Instead, we shredded over 24 walls and got some great reactions from the unknowing participants. But the wall explosion wasn't the only prank we pulled, so definitely check out the full commercial to see what other tricks we had up our sleeve. As for the crew, they of course wasted no time making a full assortment of hand-based puns.
It's actually kind of handy.
See what I'm talking about?
He's handy.
Do you see what I mean?
Handy.
This is ridiculous. Give me that.
Overall, we had a blast working on this shoot, and the final cherry on top was getting to show the Bungie team the finished arm. They loved all the props and even asked to have a few of them shipped up to their headquarters to be put on display. It's a bit surreal to think that something I built in my shop is heading to the studio that defined my childhood. And if you want to see how that goes, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the final chapter of this project. Until then, thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for future builds.